If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player performance.
Welcome back to Why Lose Player Performance, the soccer edition. My name is Noel, and with me as always is our betting analyst, Neil. Neil, how's everything going?
Great, Noel. We've had a fantastic Club World Cup, being one of the most profitable competitions probably of the year. Summer's been going great. I think on the soccer alone, we're up about 62 units since May. So it's definitely been a good run. We've had a great start to this competition. And I'm just hoping now at the quarterfinals now we can unearth a little bit more value. It's very difficult at this stage, obviously, but we'll try our best.
Yep, of course. So, as you mentioned, we're coming up to the quarterfinal stage. It's been a good tournament so far. It's been a little bit better than I've expected. We've had a few surprises. Now we predicted that there might be a few surprises. So are they actually surprises? Who knows?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you remember the last episode, we mentioned Inter Milan struggling. We did actually say PSG were going to struggle, but they've looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've seen the European sides not so great, a little bit of fatigue. And the Brazilian sides have been incredible. I think from the 4 Brazilian sides at the competition, I think they've only, together, they've only lost twice. So, the Brazilians need to be respected.
Yeah, no, they've really outperformed, or definitely beat most people's expectations, I think, so far.
Yeah.
And
when we talked about it, the fact that their season is in the early stage and the weather conditions, it's been good for them.
Yeah, the Europeans coming off a long season, and then I know a lot of the camps, there's been complaints about the searing heat, or maybe excuses made about the searing heat, lots of travel, but that's big tournaments, football.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying now the World Cup is going to be a problem because people are complaining about the heat, they're complaining about because a lot of matches have been cancelled because of thunderstorms as well. So yeah, there's a lot of complaining going on, but whatever.
Yeah. That's it. So we do have 4 quarterfinal matches to look at, but before we jump into them, let's have a quick recap of the future bets we laid out at the start of the tournament. How did they go?
Yeah, so the big one obviously was Al Hilal to qualify. We cashed that one. That was 4 units at plus 125. That's where we made most of our bread on the futures. We also had Flamengo to win the group, plus 275. Yeah. That was another nice winner. And then one of the other bigger plays, Dortmund, to make the quarterfinal. That was plus 100. We had 2 units on that. A couple of the smaller plays lost, like we had Pavlidis, top goal scorer. That was a long shot. Julian Alvarez, half unit there, top goal scorer. He lost. Mm-hmm. Ali to qualify. That was a plus 225, minus 1 unit play. Mamelodi Sundowns, and we talked about them. That was heartbreaking because we had them plus 600, or plus 500 to qualify.
Yeah.
They missed out by a point. They were so good as well. Really disappointing there.
I was rooting for them after our last chat as keeping a close eye on their results.
They scored 3 goals against Dortmund and took nothing from that game. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
We also had Ulsan HD, the Korean side, to be the lowest scoring team at 20-1. This was another heartbreaker. Because, as you know, Noel, they scored 2 kind of, let's call them low percentage chances. They really deserved not to score any. They were really bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But overall, I think, what we're looking at, plus 4.25 units on the futures. So we can't complain. And, of course, we still have a few left to run. We've got Real Madrid outright. Mm-hmm. We've got Harry Kane, who's positioned well. We actually took Man City top scoring team. So they're tied currently with Bayern Munich. So for that to win, we'd need Bayern Munich to get eliminated and for a lot of low scoring games. But that one's probably going to be settled as a lose. Okay. But yeah, overall pretty good so far, and hopefully Kane can get the job done, net a few more goals, and hopefully Real Madrid can go all the way too.
Yep. And then, of course, we give out this as a free show. If viewers want to subscribe and get some more picks, how do they go about that?
Yeah, so we'll just leave some links in the show notes. But, I'm always getting questions and DMs about this kind of stuff. I've got every kind of package you can imagine. I mean, a lot of people know now I've started tipping the tennis, which has been going well. We're in the midst of Wimbledon, which is a great tournament. There's a lot of upsets at the moment. But so I'll just have links down below for the soccer only packages, be it a week, month, year, whichever you want, and then the combo packages too. They'll be in there. And any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you, or just reach out on any of the channels.
Yep. So okay, sounds good. So let's jump into the 4 quarterfinals. Game 1.
Yeah.
Fluminense. Now, sorry, I was questioning my pronunciation before this because so many commentators pronounce it differently. I'm going with Fluminense versus Al Hilal, who is a bit of a surprise. Bit of a surprise here. So it's actually a lot of people see it as a surprise that both these teams have got to this stage, and especially after that Al Hilal City game that went into overtime. That was nail biting stuff. So, what do we see here? What's this game looking like?
Yeah, so I'll start with Al Hilal. Obviously, that game against Manchester City, it kind of suited them. Counter-attacking style under Inzaghi. They have a lot going forward. They have. We talked about it in the last podcast before the tournament started. They have a lot of weapons in attack. For me, there's still a little bit of a liability defensively. We've seen this in the group stage. I just want to pull up the underlying numbers here so I don't get anything wrong, but they've really overperformed defensively.
Yeah.
So we can see that. So looking at expected goals against, so the amount of goals they should have conceded, we're looking at 2.58 expected goals against per game. They gave up huge numbers against Real Madrid. That game ended 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunate for them, they gave up almost 5 expected goals against Manchester City. Their goalkeeper, Bono, heroic stuff to keep them in that game. So we just need to, be aware that, a lot of things have gone their way for them to get to this stage. Now, I mean, the bet I like here is both teams to score. I think Al Hilal can score multiple times here. But their defense is just way too shaky for me to trust them. So I'm going to be playing both teams to score. It's currently -125. It's going to be a 2-unit play. Now Fluminense, very old side. One of the sides with the lowest, I think, wage budgets in the competition. They've got 40-year-old Thiago Silva playing in defense. Their goalkeeper's 44. They've got a pretty old squad, but they do have a weapon in attack, a guy called John Arias, who is just a live wire. He can do it all. So, just all things considered, Al Hilal just going balls to the wall in all their games so far. I just think both teams to score priced at -125 is a little bit too generous. So that's going to be my play for this one.
Okay. I think I mentioned this before. I always like both teams to score bet, because even if one team is getting trashed 10-0, you're still in with a shout right up to the final whistle. So
so I love both teams to score and overs. I like those types of plays where your bet's live until the final whistle. Nothing worse than backing the under, and just every time I back the under, I lose my bet in the first 20 minutes. It's horrible.
And then, sorry, another note I have down here is the prize money when they get into the semifinals is pretty big. So is that going to influence a club like Fluminense? Are they going to be aware, okay, this is massive money for our club, let's really go for this?
Yeah, and as mentioned, like Fluminense are not a very wealthy side. They, like I said, the wage budget they have is pretty low. So I think it's between 25 and 30 million dollars just to get to the next round. So, I mean, obviously they're going to be playing this like a World Cup final. Al Hilal, different story, probably not as motivated by money. I think the Al Hilal players, just for beating Manchester City, got an enormous reward each. Yeah. I mean, you've got Saudi princes just lavishing them with whatever. So I don't know if they're going to be as motivated as Fluminense, but at a minimum, I'd expect them to go for this and to score at least once. Okay. So it should be a good game, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. So, quarterfinal number 2, Palmeiras versus Chelsea, and I know we had Palmeiras to win the group, which I think was a great shout. That one played out,
Yeah.
and then
I'm not sure
Chelsea.
we gave that out as an official play, but when we ran through the groups, I did fancy Palmeiras
Yeah,
to win the group.
and then Chelsea, I
But
think they've.
yeah, I mean,
I was going to say Chelsea have been a little bit better than I was expecting. I think we had mentioned last time how inconsistent Chelsea had been, and they had some, I suppose, inconsistent moments. But to get to this stage, I think they're doing well. So, what are you looking at in this game?
yeah. So Chelsea, I don't know if I've been really impressed with them. So they had two very easy games in the group stage. They took on the LAFC. They beat them 2-0. That was fairly comfortable. LAFC were not great at this tournament. And they lost to Flamengo. We had Flamengo to win their group. So Chelsea scored off kind of a fluke. It was like a ricochet moment, and Pedro Neto got put through on goal, finished his chance. So like Chelsea were in control of that game for about 60 minutes. They gave up 2 quick goals, red card, and then a third goal. They strike me as a team at the moment that are kind of mentally fragile. When things are not going their way, they have the potential to kind of crumble. That's kind of my worry for Chelsea. We seen in the last round, the round of 16, if you're looking at that score on paper, you can see Chelsea won 4-1. But the game went to extra time. Mm-hmm. Those goals came after Benfica. Benfica seeing an early red card in extra time. And most of Chelsea's good chances and goals came after that moment. So, I mean, you need to take that into consideration as well. They didn't look great against Benfica. They brought in new striker Liam Delap. I know you're a fan of his.
Yeah.
And his father.
Oh, yeah.
Legend Rory Delap. But, yeah, they're not quite there for me yet. And they're going to be missing Moises Caicedo from in defensive midfield. He's arguably one of their only world-class players, so he's going to be a huge loss. Palmeiras did great in the group stages. I know their group was kind of easy. They're unbeaten, really strong defensively, and they have an attacking outlet, and this kid Estevao, who is actually going to be joining Chelsea quite soon. So yeah, I actually, because I think this could easily be a stalemate, I like Palmeiras to win or draw, so plus 0.5 on the spread at minus 125. Like I said, like the Brazilians are just not losing games.
Yeah.
Like so, 4 Brazilian teams, and only 2 losses from those games.
Yeah, and we touched on this a little bit in the last show before the tournament started, and we asked, how good are they? But when you look at a team like Palmeiras, how would you compare them to a Premier League side? Which club would they be? Where would they sit in the Premier League table if they were playing over in England?
Yeah, so I would have my own kind of ratings for these kind of international tournaments. They're not perfect, but basically I would have Palmeiras as kind of a mid-tier Premier League side. Similar kind of strengths. Maybe along the lines of West Ham, Everton, Wolves, that type of level. Now we have to factor in, what we were talking about earlier with the fact that it's their time zone, it's their climate, pretty much, and the fact that they're not burnt out. Like Chelsea had a long season. They went to the final of a European competition, competing on all fronts. It definitely plays a part.
Yeah. Okay, so Palmeiras plus 0.5 is the play there.
Palmeiras basically just to avoid defeat. I can see this, potentially even going to extra time penalties. I think this will come down to the wire. Palmeiras could win too. Chelsea are not a team I would trust either.
Yeah. Okay. So Yeah, no, I like the sound of that one as well. And then just if it does end a draw after 90 minutes, it goes to extra time. That plus 0.5, that's only on 90 minutes play.
Yeah.
Doesn't include.
So I know a lot of our viewers are North Americans and are used to, maybe a bit of baseball, NFL, NBA, and overtime is always included in those sports. It's not like that in soccer. So just keep in mind, every market you're betting on in soccer is for regulation, 90 minutes, unless otherwise stated.
Yeah. Okay, and then on to game number 3, and I know there's 2 big games here, but this for me is the one that I'll definitely go out of my way to watch. So PSG and Bayern Munich. So we know PSG coming off a long season. We talked about them before the tournament. They'd had a great season. They finally won that European Cup. And then Bayern Munich, another European powerhouse. So, what do we see in this one? How's this one going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, this one, I would lean, I guess, towards PSG. They've just been so good. I mean, I don't know anybody in their right mind who would be opposing PSG against anybody right now. But the angle I like in this game is the over 2.5 on both teams to score market. So we can get minus 120 on this, which I think is pretty generous. We know PSG and Luis Enrique, they do like to play a bit gung ho. I mean, they're gonna play nice attacking football. Bayern Munich as well. They're not the type to turtle in and play defensively. Both sides are firing on all cylinders in attack. I mean, just looking at their seasons, we can see PSG averaging was it 2.57 goals per game across all competitions, and Bayern Munich 2.88 goals per game. Yeah. One of the main factors now that I like goals in this game is they're actually cooling the stadium. So heat is not going to be an issue. So this is I don't know the name of the stadium, but it's in Atlanta. They've said that they're going to cool the stadium to 22 degrees centigrade. I think that's about 71 Fahrenheit. Okay. So the Europeans are not going to be bothered they don't have an excuse to be bothered by the heat. There's just so much attacking quality on both sides. I mean, I can see easily both teams scoring, and Bayern more than PSG are more of a liability defensively, in my opinion, which is why I would fancy maybe PSG here as well to progress.
You made my job easier. I was going to really push you for an answer on who progresses here out of these 2 teams, but PSG.
I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this Bayern Munich team under Vincent Kompany. They've come up short in a lot of big games. We've seen it in the Champions League. Against Barcelona, if you remember, they were trashed 4-0. They got knocked out by Inter. They didn't look very convincing. Some of the bigger games in the Bundesliga. And we can't forget, I mean, they lost to Benfica in the group stage here at the Club World Cup. They struggled against Boca Juniors. Yeah. And that game, I don't know if you caught it, against Flamengo in the round of 16. They had 4 shots on target. All 4 were goals. So, they were kind of fortunate. I mean, on another day, Flamengo would have beaten them, basically. Okay. I mean, looking at the underlying expected goals as well. So, I'm not convinced by Bayern Munich, but they can definitely score.
Okay, so over 2.5 and both teams score is what we're saying here.
We'll be hoping Kane can bag a hat-trick, actually. But yeah, ultimately, actually, I don't know if it's not really good for our bets if PSG qualify, is it? Because I think they're on the same side of the draw as Real Madrid. So
yeah, they'll be playing down.
I do think PSG will qualify, but be happy with a Kane hat-trick.
Okay. So goals is what we want there.
Yeah.
And then the last of the quarterfinals, Real Madrid and Dortmund. So obviously Real was the outright pick here. Coming up against Dortmund, some people might say it's a surprise for them to get here. How do we see this one playing out? What have you got for us?
Yeah, so Real Madrid obviously under new management here and Xabi Alonso. I won't lie, they haven't been very convincing, but they're still Real Madrid, so they have been putting up excellent attacking numbers even still. I do like as well in this one the exact same bet as the PSG game. Both teams to score an over 2.5 total goals. I don't have the odds in front of me right now, but I believe about minus 110. I believe they were. Oh no, sorry, minus 105. Okay, so Mbappe has been out with an illness. Basically, he lost like 5 kilos. He's been out for the whole tournament. He made a cameo in the round of 16 against Juventus. He should be starting here. Now, when Mbappe plays, he actually makes Real Madrid weaker defensively because he doesn't press. He's very lazy, which means Real Madrid are easier to play through. Yeah. So yeah, basically, Real Madrid, I can see them scoring multiple times here, especially with Mbappe being back. They have been playing with this guy Gonzalo at centre forward, a backup. Basically, he hasn't been great. He scored a few goals, but he's obviously not on the level of Mbappe. So, and then the new signings. Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you mentioned Real's new manager there a moment ago as Xabi Alonso, and Real, as we know, are a very, very passionate club, and they're famous for maybe not giving their managers as much time as they should. Is this tournament seen as a test for Xabi? Is how much does their performance rest on his I suppose his tenure at this club, how long he's going to last?
I mean, there'll be questions asked if Real Madrid don't win this tournament. I've already seen online with the some of the Madrid fan accounts, they're already starting to become a little bit impatient, I think, with Xabi Alonso. It's obviously, I mean, he's got a completely different style. He's a real tactician. Ancelotti was more of a motivator, didn't really have a blueprint. He would just let the players play, and it worked. But Xabi Alonso's a real tactician, and he's got a lot of new players to integrate. Trent Alexander-Arnold came in from Liverpool. Dean Howson, the centre-back from Bournemouth. So, he's integrating new players. Give him time, man. At least, at least a half a season before we start judging him.
Yeah. It would be pretty impressive if he's only in the job a month or so and he comes home with his first major trophy.
Yeah, he should. I mean, hopefully he does. But I'll be honest. I haven't been that impressed with Real Madrid so far.
Okay.
After seeing Manchester City prior to the Al Hilal game, I was like, they're favourites. Like, Manchester City are back. So
yeah, we did mention that last time as well, that they've had an inconsistent season, and it's hard to win a 7-game tournament. You need consistency all the way throughout. One slip, like we said, I mean,
the Al Hilal goalkeeper he had the Superman shirt on that day, as they say. He saved everything. But just getting back to this one, so Dortmund, so we're on both teams to score here in over 2.5 goals. Yeah. Dortmund will have a goal in them. Real Madrid, very nervy at the back with those new signings. And Dortmund have a lot of pace. This guy, Adeyemi, I can see them countering really well with him. Guirassy, their centre forward, excellent finisher. So, I mean, we all know about Dortmund. They're dangerous. They're also a team that are not to be trusted defensively. So, hopefully this one will turn into a shootout as well. And, we'll cash a few winners.
We could have some fun games on our hands in this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the 4 games. Nobody wants to listen to us ramble on forever. So will we wrap up? Will we recap those 4 bets we have?
Yeah. Okay, so just starting with Fluminense and Al Hilal. We're on both teams to score there. Minus 125, 2-unit play. Yep. Palmeiras v Chelsea. We're on Palmeiras plus a half. So Palmeiras to avoid defeat. Currently minus 125 is another 2-unit play. PSG versus Bayern Munich. We're on over 2.5 total goals and both teams to score. That's minus 120, 2-unit play. And then lastly, Real Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. Same bet. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals. This one's a little bit better priced, minus 105 as well, a 2-unit play. And that's our 4 plays for the for the quarterfinals. Now I might have more, obviously.
Yep.
That's why, like I said at the start, I will have links to my own VIP packages for the soccer and as well as the tennis if anybody wants to jump in there.
Yep. Sounds good. And they'll all be in the description down below.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, Neil, thanks as always. Some good fun bets there to look forward to. I'm hoping the games play out that way because they're more entertaining when there's lots of goals. So
yeah, I mean, and you know, hopefully we have a few winners because I'm off to Malaysia now for a couple of weeks. So I don't know if we'll get another podcast in. Maybe the next one will be for the Premier League. You know, just before that kicks off, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, you don't have to rub in your travel plans.
I have to flex.
Okay, Neil, thanks very much. And yeah, make sure you follow us and we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, take care now.
Bye.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my own.